what he's doing is, I mean, kind of cool if he can continue to steal money and they match him the way they match him. I can't knock his hustle. So if they can match him the way how they've been matching him, more power.
Jake Paul recently turned down a fight with Conor McGregor, and Floyd Mayweather didn't hold back his criticism. Mayweather, a boxing legend who built his career fighting the best, slammed Jake for cherry-picking older fighters and former UFC stars to pad his record, while Jake claims
as long as he continues to fight MMA guys and YouTubers, he's gonna continue to look good and shine. But once he fights a real fighter that can really fight, it's not gonna be that good.
Redefining boxing, his strategy appears more about branding than bravery. Turning down McGregor, one of the biggest names in combat sports, was a new low, even by Jake's standards. Mayweather wasn't the only.
For what he's doing, as long as they keep getting YouTubers and keep putting them in there with MMA guys, yeah, that's kind of over the hill, he's going to continue to shine.
Only one unimpressed. Jake also rejected Andrew Tate, a former kickboxing champion known for his tough persona and willingness to take on any challenge. Tate would have been a formidable opponent, but Jake seems determined to avoid real risks while maintaining his self-proclaimed image as the savior of boxing.
I don't have $50 million to bet with you, but I do have $3 million to bet with you. So this is your offer. $3 million. You put 3, I put 3. Winner takes all.
With each carefully calculated fight, Jake's intentions become clearer. He's not in it for the competition but the spectacle. For all his talk, his actions suggest he's more focused on protecting his brand than proving himself in the ring. Andrew Tate, a former kickboxing champion, reportedly threw $3 million in cash on the table for a fight with Jake Paul, but Jake strategically declined, deciding the risk wasn't worth it. Why face someone skilled when you can keep swinging at retired athletes? Then there's Conor McGregor, a name synonymous with combat sports. Yet Jake shut that door too, citing weight classes and accusing McGregor of being
Amanda, Katie,
gigantic.
Conor, Jake. That's how Croke Park gets done. Because you need Conor. You need Conor. Conor, Jake.
You gave me chills. But it's
Conor, Jake, Amanda.
Being scared. Really? McGregor has fought some of the toughest fighters in UFC history. Meanwhile, Jake's biggest achievements include knocking out a former basketball player and an MMA veteran who hadn't thrown a punch.
He's doing is, I mean, kind of cool if he can continue to steal money and they match him the way they match him. I can't knock his hustle. So if they can match him the way how they've been matching him, more power to him.
In years. Enter Floyd Mayweather, the undefeated boxing legend and master of calling people out. Floyd isn't holding back when it comes to Jake, criticizing his cherry-picking strategy.
Jake fought a guy who was his age and who was also considered a boxer, and he lost. So if you can keep fighting 50-something-year-old
and lack of real challenges. For someone who claims to be redefining boxing, Jake seems more focused on dodging legitimate fights than proving himself against true competition. Floyd Mayweather isn't holding back when it comes.
You want to fight and you want to send a contract, send one to me. I will take a few weeks break from living my retired life to kick the living out of a goofy, entitled head like.
Comes to Jake Paul, flat out calling him a cherry picker who only fights opponents he knows he can beat. Tyron Woodley, Ben Askren, and even a 58-year-old Mike Tyson. Floyd sees through the act, and honestly, who doesn't at this point? After ducking Conor McGregor and Andrew Tate, Floyd's criticism has hit even harder. He's not just taking aim at Jake's choice of opponents, he's tearing apart Jake's entire career strategy. Floyd argues that Jake is making...
Strength is that people, for whatever stupid reasons, they underestimate him because of what his background was. Right. And they think there's no way that some guy who became famous off of YouTube...
making a mockery of boxing, and he's not wrong. While Floyd built his legacy fighting the best of the best, Jake is doing whatever it takes to avoid facing real fighters. It's like comparing filet mignon to a microwaved hot dog. And then there are those rumored fight contracts Jake uses, with clauses alleged.
Is he someone you're interested in or no?
Well, you know, if you go back, you got to do your homework, look on the internet. I think he was doing a sit down on a podcast one time, and he talked about it. He said, I don't want to do an exhibition against Floyd Mayweather.
Limiting his opponents. If that's true, any shred of credibility Jake has left is gone. Writing rules to guarantee you don't lose isn't fighting, it's just playing pretend. Floyd doesn't even need to step into the ring to defeat Jake.
As long as they keep getting YouTubers and keep putting them in there with MMA guys, that's kind of over the hill, he's going to continue to show.
His words alone are enough to shake Jake's carefully curated image. Floyd represents everything Jake isn't: discipline, skill, and a legacy built on merit. When Floyd speaks, the boxing world listens. Now Jake's stuck, dodging real fights while his reputation takes hit after hit. Scared or
X has spoken. The fight was scripted. Everyone is talking about this on X, and the script was actually leaked on X a few days ago.
Strategic, as he likes to call it, Jake Paul seems determined to avoid legitimate threats in the ring. He's been publicly roasted by Floyd Mayweather, mocked by Conor McGregor, and rejected by fans tired of his circus act. The question isn't whether Jake will fight a real opponent, it's whether his career can survive without the smoke and mirrors. Take the rumored Mike Tyson fight, for example. Allegations suggest there was a clause banning Tyson, yes, Iron Mike, from throwing certain punches. Tyson, a man who's knocked out more people than Jake has TikTok followers, allegedly had restrictions placed on him in a fight that should have been a true clash of legends. Why do these claims sting so much? Because Jake's entire brand is built on being the rebel.
As of right now, for what he's doing, it's good for what he's doing. But once he fights a real fighter, it's going to be bad.
The underdog, the guy fighting his way to the top. If his fights are even slightly rigged, that narrative crumbles faster than his dignity at a Floyd Mayweather press conference. It's no longer boxing, it's performance art with gloves. Fans aren't just noticing anymore, they're shouting. The whispers about controlled
It's clear to me you are desperate for a reality check.
outcomes are growing louder. People are asking, is Jake capable of a real fight, or are his opponents just hand-picked to protect his undefeated record? If the allegations hold any truth, Jake's already shaky credibility might be heading for a total knockout. Let's talk about Conor McGregor, because you know he wasn't going to let Jake Paul duck him without delivering a proper roast. And boy did he deliver. Conor hit back harder than one of his infamous left hooks, mocking Jake's apparent preference for fighting opponents eligible for AARP benefits. But wait, it gets better. Feeling the sting, Jake decided to challenge Conor to an MMA fight.
Thoughts on this Mike Tyson and Jake Paul fight?
Oh, geez, I don't. It's a bit strange. You know, is my interest? The interest is a low one. I don't know. I don't really. I don't understand.
No weight class, no limits, just pure chaos. The Conor's response? Laughter. He didn't even dignify it with a serious reply, instead throwing a verbal jab about Jake being too scared to fight anyone who isn't collecting a pension. Here's the thing, Floyd Mayweather didn't go 50-0 by fighting TikTok stars and retired MMA fighters with dad.
What he's doing is, kind of cool if he can continue to steal money.
Floyd's legacy is built on battling the best. Icons like Pacquiao, Canelo, and De La Hoya. He's the best ever because he earned it, fight by fight. Jake Paul, on the other hand, is collecting wins against opponents who'd struggle to pass a fitness test at their local gym. And Floyd isn't shy about calling him out. He said it before, and he's saying it again. Jake Paul is turning boxing into a clown show.
If you go back, you got to do your homework, look on the internet. I think he was doing a sit down on a podcast one time, and he talked about it. He said, I don't want to do an exhibition against Floyd Mayweather.
Instead of focusing on the grind, honing his craft, or taking on real challengers, Jake seems more interested in padding his record and counting paychecks, and Floyd's not wrong. Floyd Mayweather said it best with his infamous all-hype, no-heart jab at Jake Paul, a remark that cut deeper than any right hook Jake's ever thrown. To Floyd, boxing isn't just a sport, it's a sacred craft.
He's selling it. He's selling it, and he's making good money, and he's entertaining. I like it.
Watching Jake turn it into a spectacle for clicks and cash, it's like watching someone graffiti over a Picasso. Traditional boxing fans are nodding along with Floyd. They miss the days when boxing was about grit, skill, and legacy, not Instagram followers and NFT drops. But here's the thing.
Jake Paul, it's clear to me you are desperate for a reality check. This is the hardest sport in the world, and people dedicate their lives to this, and most of them never get a payday. It never pays off for the majority of fighters, who would f*** you up.
Jake doesn't seem to care. While Floyd defends the sport's integrity, Jake's busy selling fights with viral antics, cringeworthy trash talk, and outrageous call-outs. To Mayweather, this isn't just disrespectful, it's blasphemy. And honestly, who's going to argue with a man who embodies boxing itself? Jake Paul isn't just splitting wigs in the ring.
This Jake Paul fella.
I always say that if Jake Paul was not a YouTube star, if people just looked at him like an up-and-coming boxer, you would say this kid's got a lot of talent. Right. He's dangerous.
He's splitting the entire boxing world in two. On one side are Jake's fans, praising him for bringing boxing to a new, younger audience. On the other side are the purists, clutching their Muhammad Ali posters, screaming at their TVs, and wondering how Jake Paul, an influencer-turned-boxer, has a bigger pay-per-view draw than most legitimate champions. The divide is undeniable.
He's beating former UFC world champions like Tyron Woodley. You know, he had that very good fight with Tommy Fury, who's a legitimate boxer.
And Jake seems perfectly content riding the wave of controversy all the way to the bank. The divide Jake Paul creates isn't just among fans, it's affecting boxing itself. By rejecting fights with credible opponents like Andrew Tate or Conor McGregor, Jake is sending a troubling message. He'd rather play it safe and cash in than risk his record against someone who might actually beat him. That's not...
Are you impressed? Does he have boxing ability? Or is he just an entertainer who has a lot of fans and can promote a fight and has fought lesser opponents? Or is he actually talented?
As long as he continues to fight MMA guys and YouTubers, he's gonna continue to look good and shine.
Not bravery, that's business. But this isn't just about Jake anymore. It's about boxing's future. If Jake keeps cherry-picking opponents and treating the sport like his personal content farm, what happens to boxing's credibility? Will it devolve into just another platform for influencers chasing clout? Or can the sport's integrity survive the chaos? These are the questions Jake's career forces everyone to ask. The problem is, Jake seems more interested in playing it safe. Why risk a brutal loss when you can keep the paychecks rolling in, even if it means leaving the sport's legacy in question? Jake Paul might be keeping his undefeated streak alive and laughing all the way to the bank, but here's the harsh truth. If he doesn't start taking real risks, he won't be remembered as a boxer. He'll be remembered as a sideshow, a flashy gimmick that burned bright but faded fast. Floyd Mayweather said it best, without real challenges, Jake Paul risks becoming a joke rather than a legend. And if he doesn't change course soon, that might just be his legacy. A guy with all the potential in the world who squandered it chasing easy wins and internet fame. Here's the million-dollar question. Will Jake Paul step up, or is he content to coast on the influencer boxing wave until it inevitably crashes? Because, let's be real, he can't keep running forever. Sooner or later, fans will demand more than rigged contracts and novelty matchups. They'll want real fights against real opponents with real stakes.